Hey developers, welcome to Devcovery. Today, we're bringing you the hottest open source projects trending on GitHub, so you don't miss any tech developments worth your attention.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into a trending project on GitHub, free-llm API-resources, a curated collection of free LLM inference APIs. With over 8,000 stars and more than 100 new ones just today, this project has become the go-to resource for developers looking to experiment with AI without breaking the bank, offering a comprehensive guide to accessible language model endpoints. A documentation project launched recently has already racked up over 8,000 stars on GitHub. More than 100 were added just today. What makes a simple list of free API resources so valuable that thousands of developers are bookmarking it within days? The answer reveals something fundamental about the current state of large language model development. This project, called free-llm API-resources, was created by developer cheahjs to solve a specific problem, tracking which LLM services offer genuinely free access. With 8,678 stars and 851 forks, it has become a critical reference point for developers working with AI models. What started as a curated list has evolved into an automated documentation system. It continuously monitors over 20 different API providers, from OpenRouter and Google AI Studio to NVIDIA NIM and Mistral's La Plateforme. Each entry includes detailed usage limits, supported models, and registration requirements. The project's rapid adoption signals just how pressing the LLM cost barrier has become for individual developers. The fundamental challenge this project addresses is the economics of LLM development. Companies like OpenAI and Anthropic have made powerful models accessible via API, but the costs can quickly become prohibitive for small-scale developers, students, or anyone building prototypes. A single GPT-4 API call can cost several cents. Costs accumulate rapidly during testing and iteration. Meanwhile, information about free tiers is scattered across dozens of provider websites, each with different terms, restrictions, and hidden requirements like phone verification or credit card binding. Developers face a time-consuming research process just to find suitable free resources. That information often becomes outdated within weeks as providers adjust their policies. The lack of a centralized, up-to-date comparison makes it nearly impossible to make informed decisions about which free tier best fits a specific use case. The project's architecture represents an elegant implementation of the docs as code philosophy. At its core is a Python script called pull, available models.py. It transforms the README from a static document into what the project documentation calls a living document. This script acts as a data aggregation engine, implementing custom connectors for each API provider. For services with structured APIs like OpenRouter or Grok, it makes direct REST API calls and parses JSON responses. For providers without public APIs, it likely employs web scraping techniques to extract model lists and rate limits from HTML. The presence of a file named 1 second of silence, MP3 in the repository, hints at something particularly clever. The script may actually test voice model endpoints like Whisper by uploading audio files to verify their availability. This ensures the documentation doesn't just list services theoretically available, it actually confirms they're working. The entire pipeline is orchestrated through GitHub Actions. The update readme.yml workflow triggers daily updates to ensure information stays current. Perhaps most elegantly, a separate workflow called readme change validator YAML enforces code quality. It fails any pull request that directly modifies the README, forcing contributors to update the data source instead. This implements the single source of truth principle at the infrastructure level. The practical applications span the entire spectrum of AI development. Student researchers experimenting with prompt engineering can test ideas across different models without worrying about API costs. Indie developers building AI-powered applications can validate their prototypes using free tiers before committing to paid services. Companies evaluating LLM providers can compare performance across multiple free tiers before making procurement decisions. The project's detailed documentation of rate limits helps developers design their applications within these constraints from the start. like OpenRouter's 20 requests per minute or Grok's model-specific daily quotas. For open-source contributors adding AI features to existing projects, this resource eliminates hours of research. It lets them quickly identify which free APIs support their required models, whether that's Llama 3.3, Gemini 2.5 Flash, or specialized models like Whisper for speech recognition. The project's automation-first approach introduces significant technical debt that could undermine its long-term viability. Every API provider represents a maintenance burden. When Google restructures AI Studio's pricing, when NVIDIA changes NIM's authentication scheme, or when Mistral deprecates an endpoint, the custom connector code breaks. As the project scales to support dozens of providers, maintaining these individualized integrations becomes increasingly complex. The code likely contains a growing collection of special case handlers and exception logic to deal with each provider's quirks. There's also a fundamental accuracy problem inherent in automated documentation. The script may miss nuanced terms like geographic restrictions, promotional periods, or complex usage calculation methods. A service marked as free might require credit card verification that creates friction, or have hidden bandwidth limits that only appear after sustained use. The project's reliance on external APIs also creates security considerations around API key management and potential rate-limiting issues during the update process itself. Perhaps most critically, the project's success depends on the continued generosity of these free tiers. They could evaporate as LLM providers face increasing pressure to monetize their services. What makes free-llm-api-resources valuable isn't just the information it contains, it's how it maintains that information. In an industry where yesterday's free tier becomes today's paid service, automated validation beats manual curation every time. For any developer working with language models on a budget, this project represents the difference between spending hours researching options and getting started in minutes with confidence that the information is current.
That's all for today's Devcovery. We hope these GitHub trending projects spark some inspiration for your development work. You can find all the repos mentioned in the description below. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you tomorrow at the same time.